fashionistas, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we'll be learning how to make this lovely underbust corset I have on. Let's get right into the tutorial. This is the jean fabric we are going to be using. It's medium thick, it's not too thick and it's not too soft. And this is my measurement. My waist measurement is 30. I'm going to take out 3 inches. That leaves me with 27 inches, and I want the length of the corset to be 13 inches. I took out 3 inches from my waist measurement because I want it really snatched. The next thing to do now is to take my measurement. 27 divided by 4 will give us 6.5, so I'm just going to mark 7.5 all the way down. I added 1 inch for my dart manipulation, so I'm just going to roll that line all the way down. The next thing to do now is to find the midpoint for that 13 inches, and that's going to be 6.5. So I already marked that, and I'm just going to roll a straight line like I did. So now the next thing is to do my dart manipulation. I measured 2 inches away from my starting point, and I measured another 3 inches, so that is going to stand as my dart lines, I guess. And I want to believe that you're already used to this by now, because we have a lot of videos that we've done dart manipulation for. So but for the essence of this video, now I already drew my dart lines, and it's time to do some manipulations. So I just took 0.5, just look at what I'm doing, and I took another 0.25, and I'm just going to, cinch, just for me to cinch that place and make it smaller, make it look snatched. So that's just basically what I'm doing, and that's what that manipulation stands for. So that's what I'm doing. I'm just trying to manipulate my dart lines, as you can see me doing. Just look at what I'm doing very closely. You're going to understand. As you can see, I just thinned down my lines, and so our darts are already ready, and I'm just putting my lines just so we can remember that we are going to cut out that place. And I already labeled my panels too. Now on our midpoint, I took away 1 inch just to give it that curvy effect. I took away 1 inch, as you can see, and I try to smooth out the rough edges. And now the next thing I'm doing is to show you that you can decide to carve out your patterns and just cut it out once and for all. But like I said earlier in my previous videos, I always prefer to join my panels together before carving them out. Okay, so just do whatever pleases you, or whichever one you find easy. Okay, so now I already cut out my panels, and this is what it looks like. I already numbered it also, so I don't make mistakes. Please don't always forget to number your panels so that it will be easy for you when you want to join them together. Okay, so the next thing to do now is to cut out our back panels. It's almost the same thing for the front too. The length is still 13, the midpoint is still 6.5. Now it's time to do our back slants, because obviously it's not going to have zip, it's going to have eyelets, so we need to take out some measurements away from the back. And for mine, I took away 2 inches, okay, and I just slant that down. Okay, so now it's time to do our dart manipulations. I marked 3 inches, and I took that line all the way down too. So just look at what I'm doing closely. Just like we did for the front too, I took away 1 inch on my waistline, and I'm just going to curve that also, just to give it a curvy effect and make it snatched. Don't forget to cancel the places you'll be cutting out so you don't make mistakes and you don't forget. And also don't forget to number your panels. I honestly can't overemphasize this because it's very important. Imagine joining 6 wrong panels together. Do you know how painful that will be? So please always number your panels. It costs you nothing. So as you can see me, I'm just doing my dart manipulation just as we did for the front. Very, very easy and simple. And don't forget to wrong the places we'll be cutting out so it is easy to remember. So we have just 1 and 2 panels for the back. So the next thing to do now is just to cut it out. Okay, and this is what the panels look like after cutting them out. As you can see, I already added my seam allowance, and I added 1 inch seam allowance to the side. So this is what it looks like, and it's time to go join them on the machine. I don't think I need to talk much for this part because I'm not doing anything serious. I'm just pinning them according to their numbers and sewing them on the machine. Okay, just look at what I'm doing very closely, you would understand. So this is what we have after giving it a good press and weaving my seam allowance. Now it's time to top stitch our seam allowance because it's also going to serve as our boning case. Okay, so I'm just going to tape that down so that our bonings can enter. This is what it should look like after doing that for both the front and the back. Okay, I already did that, as you can see. For the front panel, I made a bias tape out of the jean, so I'm going to top stitch that at the center front too, okay, so that my bonings can pass through. Now it's time to cut out the design that we want, and like I always say, there's no measurement for this. You just have to follow your creative mind and cut out the design that you want. But for the essence of this tutorial, just look at what I'm doing, because I didn't measure anything. I just cut it out. I just cut out the design that I want, or my desired result. So just do that for your own too, or just look at how I did in this video. Okay, so I'm just going to measure my front with the back to be able to ascertain the place I'll cut for the back too. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat the process. Just look at what I'm doing very closely. So this is what we have after we are done, and I always say it's a matter of preference. You can decide to make yours longer or shorter. Okay, the next thing to do is to pin your sides and take your measurements all the way down. After taking my measurement, I went ahead and cut 3.5 inch, and that is going to serve as our eyelet base. If you're an old subscriber, you should know what an eyelet base is by now, but if you're a new subscriber, this is going to serve as a base for our eyelet. Just as the name implies, it is supposed to give the fabric more durability and prepare it for the eyelet. Okay, so just look at what I'm doing in this video. As you can see, we already attached our eyelet base, and now it's time for us to stitch it down. Okay, so I'm just going to flip it over and make it rest on the seam allowance, and I'm just going to take it all the way down. Just look at what I'm doing closely. It's always important to pay attention more to what I'm doing than even my voice, okay, because that's the only way you can see what I'm doing and get it. All I'm doing here now is to create a boning case for this place. Just top stitch it all the way down. Now I'm turning the upper part with the bias that I made out of the jean. Now it's time to put our boning, and the essence of the plaster is just so that the boning doesn't pierce the fabric. And this is our final result, guys. This is what we have after turning the lower part and fixing the eyelets. And that brings us to the end of this tutorial. If you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel already, please do so now and click on the notification bell. Bye!